To Super Mark Z, where today I'm going to be talking about a Tmnt multiverse theory. And this theory is going to dictate so many things about the Tmnt multiverse that all these crossovers seem to be using the same tattoos. But what if I say it isn't using the same tattoos? Let me explain in greater detail. It seems like the 2003 turtles crossed over with the 1987 turtles, and also did the 2012 turtles crossover with the same 1987 turtles, or did they? Here's what I'm going to say. The ones that crossed over with the 2003 and the 12 turtles seem not to be the same universe as the TV show and not the same universe as each other. Here's my explanation. The 1987 world shown in Turtles Forever does look like the original one from the TV show, but it has one simple thing that doesn't make sense. Why are the Turtles' personalities seem to be all similar to each other and nothing like the ones shown in the show? Meaning, either they are acting or these are not the same turtles as seen in the show. Then, in the 2012 crossover, it is shown that first their world is rendered in 2D. We can just account for that being a lack of animation budget to do that. And then, when they do appear again in season 5, they have a very 3D design when coming to this world, but that can also be explained because they are not in their world and their world looks similar to the TV show. And the one thing that is different that makes me always think that these turtles are not the same turtles is simply because if it doesn't make sense timeline wise that these turtles would know that other turtles exist, because it's not shown in the TV show that they do know. And then if it is not shown in the TV show, it would mean that it takes place after the TV show ends. But that wouldn't make sense because the design of the turtles seem to be taking order for the designs pre-Red Sky, as you saw right there with the photo with Master Splinter, and right now there's a photo of them that shows them darker and one that shows them lighter, and the lighter one was used for the crossover, which doesn't make sense because if the turtles in that show knew about other multiverses of turtles, and that Dimension X and the other Dimension X were connected, it wouldn't be making sense a lot. And also Krang being the same species as the Krang from the 2012 show can only make sense if the Krang in the show, the 1987 show, is not from that one, because this 1987 show is not related to the one that the 2012 turtles crossed over with. So that's why I'm saying there are 1987 universes for the Tmnt, and there might be more considering Tmnt Adventure that was written by Archie, so there might be even more. The Morning Adventures that I think is also on a Tmnt show comic, might also be its own separate Tmnt 87 universe. The 2012 Tmnt has a multitude of universes based on it, from IDW to even more, and also the ones that crossed over with Batman. I know we are talking about universes, but I want to talk about one simple timeline thing from the 2012 show. At the end of season 4, we saw that a version of the 2012 Turtles, which never saw Master Splinter dying, did go with the android. I forgot his name right now. I think it was the Fugitoid. Yeah, it was the Fugitoid. So they went back with the Fugitoid, right? But people have always said, isn't that weird? Why would they do that? Well, I actually have a simple explanation. That might be the reason there are so many separate 2012 timelines, because those versions of the TMNT that went with the Fugitoid at the end of season 4, and that explains why the events of the end of season 4 still happened. Because I believe that those versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and their crew that went with the Fugitoid at the end of season 4 are actually just repeating the events of season 4. so that they happen so they can close the loop. So I'm saying the ones that went with the future tweet at the end of season 4 and the ones that stayed are nearly equal. So that means there are two timelines caused by that. The original one where the turtles there are three actually, not two, sorry. The original one where the turtles lose and the black hole generator is turned on. The second timeline where the turtles from the original timeline caused the good timeline, and the third timeline which is caused by the fact the turtles that will be helped by the turtles at the end of season 4 will be the exact same as the ones at the end of season 4, meaning when they are taken, they will not cause a fourth timeline. They just continue the third as they are now equal, and that's what I think caused three timelines or universes that could be considered on why some of the 2012 content spin-offs like games, even comics that seem to be canon but have slight differences could be caused by these three timeline hypothesis or three universe thing, depending on which one you think would best suit to be named like this. For the 2003, they also have multiple versions of them. Also, the comic book turtles also have multiple versions of them, and I also believe that the Rise turtles also have multiple versions of them, and also these modern turtles also have multiple versions of them. For the multiple versions of the Mirage comic or the Tmnt comics from Mirage, I think the multiverse variant that we ever saw would be the Image comics that occurred that one time that lasted 23 issues, and I think even though they disfigured the characters greatly, it was an okay TMNT run for its time. And the other non-canon comics that took place in volume 1 could also be shown as in the Mirage comics continuity of the multiverse. So this was my theory to explain the Turtleverse. Also, not forgetting the 2007 movie Turtles and the original movie Turtles and all the other extended media that also has its own versions of the multiverse, with each of the characters having a certain version of their own multiverse, being a game multiverse, a movie multiverse, and a comic spin-off and cartoon multiverse. This was me explaining the Turtleverse of TMNT. Loud noise right now, so that's why I had to speak loudly and cut the thing awkwardly. Hopefully next time there won't be as much loud noise when I make the next video. This is Super Max Z heading out.